You ever wonder why your Wi-Fi just suddenly slows down to a crawl for no reason at all? Or maybe you've heard that weird crackly static on your radio that just pops up out of nowhere. You know, these little tech glitches, they happen to all of us. But what if I told you there's usually a single, invisible culprit behind it all? Well, let's start digging.
All right, so this is going to be the first of a 10-part series, and it's all based on a really comprehensive report from the folks at RFI Detectives. Over the next few episodes, we're going to use their findings to kind of turn you into a home detective, hunting down all those invisible forces that are messing with your tech.
I mean, seriously, think about it for a second. You're right in the middle of watching something and buffering. Or you're just listening to a perfectly clear radio station and then crackle, hiss. It feels totally random, right? But it's usually not. There's almost always a hidden reason for these frustrations, and today, our investigation to find it begins.
Okay, so first things first, in any good investigation, you have to identify your suspect. Now, in this case, it's not a person, but it's this invisible force that's causing all this chaos in our homes.
So this culprit, it has a name. Radio frequency interference, or RFI for short. And really, it's just unwanted electronic noise. You know, signals from one device just bleeding out and messing with another one. You can kind of think of it as the invisible background hum of our super modern electronic-filled lives.
A really great way to picture this is to think about the air in your home like a perfectly still pond. Your Wi-Fi router drops a little stone in, and it creates these nice, neat ripples. But then your TV drops a stone, your laptop drops one, your phone charger. Pretty soon, that calm water is just a chaotic mess of ripples all crashing into each other. Well, that chaos, that's RFI.
So let's head over to our first crime scene, if you will. We're going to what is often the absolute noisiest place in the whole house, at least electromagnetically speaking, your digital hub. Yep, that whole area with your computer, your router, and all your networking gear. So why is this one spot such a problem? Well, it all boils down to one word: speed. The very thing that makes our computers so incredibly powerful, all those tiny circuits switching on and off billions of times every single second, that's also what makes them generate a huge amount of unintentional radio noise as a side effect. The main offenders in this whole digital hub area are the devices you'd probably expect: your computer, your wireless router, and any network switches or hubs you might have. The key thing to realize here is that each one of these is acting like a tiny, accidental radio transmitter, just constantly broadcasting noise. And this gives us our first major clue. Go take a look at your network switch. Is it in a plastic case? Well, that plastic offers basically zero protection, so it's letting all that radio noise just pour out into the room. A metal case, on the other hand, acts like an electromagnetic shield, trapping a whole lot of that interference safely inside. But wait. The devices themselves are only one part of the story. There's another culprit here, one that's been hiding in plain sight this whole time, connecting everything together. Let's talk about the antennas we don't even know we have. It turns out that every single wire plugged into your digital hub isn't just a passive little connector, it's an active antenna. It broadcasts noise from your devices out into the room, and it also picks up noise from other sources, feeding it right back into your sensitive electronics. It's a two-way street. And those really common unshielded Ethernet cables are especially good at this. They literally take the digital noise from your computer or your router and just spray it everywhere. This creates what engineers call a comb of interference, a whole bunch of interference spikes all across the radio dial. And that's why this kind of digital noise can sometimes feel like it's coming from everywhere at once.
Okay, so we've identified our prime suspect, and we've uncovered its MO. So what can we actually do about it? Let's get to your first real clue, a practical action you can take right now.
Here are two super simple things you can check right away. First, just walk over to your network gear and look at the cases. Is your switch in a plastic box or a metal one? Just knowing that tells you a whole lot. Second, take a look at your cables. If you've been having weird interference issues, upgrading from those standard unshielded cables to shielded ones can make a really massive difference.
So, we've just seen how much invisible noise can come from the devices we use every single day. It kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? If your computer area is this noisy, what other seemingly innocent appliances are just lurking in your home, secretly flooding the air with interference? Well, we'll start hunting for those in part 2.